On today's Hashi, I'm discussing the cost breakdown of building new single family homes. What does it actually cost? What millennials are willing to do to buy a home today, and mortgage application data for the week. Today is Wednesday, January 29, 2025. I am Byron Lazine, and the Hashi starts now. Good morning. Welcome into the Hot Sheet. Glad to be with you all here this morning. Let me know in the live chat which market you are tuning in from today. This is the only show on the internet that gives you a 24-hour look back on the housing market from the real estate professional perspective. Go ahead and hit subscribe to the BAM YouTube channel if you haven't done so. It is absolutely free. We deliver this show every single Monday through Thursday. It's the only one that exists. Hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and glad that you're all here with me today. And I hope that you've already grabbed your seat as we have some that are starting to run out for BAM Mania for next week. I hope I can see you there. BAM Mania or BAM Pro Bowl. I keep saying BAM Mania. I can't get Mania out of my vocabulary here. Which was a great event. Saw some of you guys there last year. BAM Pro Bowl. Jason knows the name of the event next week. BAM Pro Bowl 2. The second Pro Bowl is going to be next week, a week from today, Wednesday, February 5th, 12 p.m. Eastern. And we've got Sharon Srivatsa. I actually saw Sharon last night. He did a TEDx talk, and he told me his talk at BAM Pro Bowl is going to be next level, even above what he did at TEDx. I said, really? I mean, you've been preparing for TEDx for 6 months. I can't believe that that's going to be the case, but he said it will be. He's bringing the energy. Jared James, of course, always brings the energy, the new way to prepare and win in the 2025 market. We've got Ken Pozak, who just absolutely dominates YouTube from a local, hyper-local perspective. Tina Call, working on our genius, and Kofi Narte, attracting high net worth clients. Myself and the broke agent, Eric Simon, will be doing the play-by-play commentary along with a whole bunch of entertaining elements to the show, as only BAM does. Free virtual event. Grab your free ticket. BAMX members will have access to the replay. There will be no replay for non-BAMX members. It is a live show beyond the live show, and hope to see so many of you guys there. Absolutely free, bamprobowl.com. What isn't free, though, of course, is the cost of constructing a new single family home. Of course, it's not free. There's materials, there's labors, there's regulations, there's permits, there's all of that. But not only is it not free, as of course it shouldn't be, it's highly expensive. It's almost unaffordable, or it is unaffordable for most, would be the better way to put that. Let's break down the cost since we have 2024 costs. This is from a recent National Association of Home Builder publish that they just released on national averages for their itemized costs. So this gives you the ability, and this is something to save. We're going to put the data right inside of BAMX for members to be able to save this as you're working with clients. Like, what's it going to actually cost? I'm so frustrated looking for homes. I'm thinking I'm just going to build one. Okay, has anybody walked you through what it would cost to build a home in today's market? That might give them the information to move forward confidently with that new build, and now you're looking for land, or that might give them a pause to say, didn't really kind of think about these raw material costs, the cost of preparing the land. I think we're going to be shocked here when we look at just that cost that goes into building a home, and what the margins actually are for builders right now on the averages. Some of these numbers really stood out to me. I might give somebody a pause, because that's even before you start getting into fancy features like the outdoor kitchen, or do you want, quartz, or do you want, like, what do you want on your counters? How good of a cabinet do you want? Do you want that like rock solid cabinetry that's giving you the self-close feature? or do you want, something that you'd pick up at the depot? Like, what are you looking for to finish this off and make those interior finishes? That's going to increase that price dramatically. Yesterday, we said the average new construction home sale price is up over $500,000. That alone, just the finished product, is something that most can't afford. But diving into the numbers here, if we go back here and just look at where we were on the peak of new construction, 2022 being that recent peak, the average sales price was $644,000. So that average sale price, $644,000 in 2022, that was the average sale price. Builders are coming to the market. There was a lot more, high net worth, buyers moving around still from COVID. And you saw that price really increased. What did we also have in the beginning of 2022? We had that lower interest rate, which a $640,000 home in 2022 with the interest rate, I mean, it's like buying a $500,000 house today if you want your payment, right? There's, obviously taxes, insurance, there's stuff that goes into these formulas, but yeah, you can buy a lot less home today. And when we just look, if for those that were on the hot sheet yesterday, this, but I'll just go backwards here for a second, and I'll open up, one of our sources from yesterday's show. If we just go back to the monthly new residential sales release for December 2024, the average sale price for December was $513,000. So that's well off now of that 2022 peak. So just keep that in mind. $513,000 is basically right now the average sale price. The median's about $4.25. I think it's $427. But when we're looking at the averages, and this is what the NAHB was looking at in this report, keep in mind the average right now is about $513,000. Okay, got it. That's well off of the $644,000. Interest rates have put an enormous amount of pressure on that. Back in 2022, builders were really cleaning up on the margin. The average cost for the construction was $392,000. Okay, that's the average total cost for construction. We're not talking about, everything that's included there. I'll break that number down in a second. Okay. So the average sale price, $644,000, includes costs for construction, the finished lot, the finance, and the overhead and general expenses, marketing, sales, and profit. Total construction costs, was the $392,000. In 2024, the average sale price of newly single-family homes sampled by NHB, that was $655,000. In total construction for the cost average on new single-family homes, including the survey, was $428,000. So you've seen that this number has gone up. Okay, you only got a 3.2% on the average sale price, but you have a 9.2% jump for total construction costs. And this average sale price is trending down. We saw that in the month of December. This is an annualized number that they're showing here. Since mortgage rates obviously spiked, that's changed the game. Now let's look at these average itemized prices. Now this is the costs that are paid by the builder. Okay, so it includes all costs paid by the builder that go into a particular item. It's good to have this saved. We're obviously going to throw this inside of BAMX for you guys, but this is good to just know, like, when somebody's asking you, like, well, I could get that done for this amount or that done for that amount. Hey, this is what the builder cost is. And so, there's labor that goes on top of that, right? So framing is actually one of those things that has come down with material costs coming down slightly, 60,000 down to 50,000 from 22 to 24. Excavation costs have come down from 43,000 to 39,000. Now, when you put labor on top of that, these numbers jump up, obviously. And you're seeing now here, you've got electrical, plumbing, HVAC right now. So the 2024 numbers in the blue. So framing is the only one that's actually come down. We actually had excavation go up from 39 to 34. So the yellow is 2022, 39,000 in 22, 43,000 in 24. Every other number on here has actually gone up since 2022. That includes electrical from 23K to 27. That includes plumbing, basically going up $5,000, 22,000 to 27. We have HVAC going from 21,000 to 26. Exterior wall finish, 20,000 to 25,000. Cabinets, countertops going from 17,000 to 19,000. And if anybody's priced out cabinets, countertops right now, you're like, well, nobody can get that with the install if you want decent cabinet countertops. So remember, these are the raw material costs. Like, kind of rule of thumb, you could double that up on what they're going to be charging for the labor. Remember, labor is not a margin. They've got to pay people to put the work in. Okay. So lumber being the one thing that has come down, since the peak. But a lot of these have gone up. Here's what's interesting directly from the survey. Okay. This was conducted in the fall of 24, just for reference. So on average right now, 64%, so 2/3 of this, just a little over 2/3 of the sale price is due to just those construction costs. Okay. Now, 13.7% is to finished lots. That leaves builder profit right now, where we're sitting right now in this constrained market with pressure from the rate. That builder profit is at 11% of the sale price. Now, this NAHB number includes a lot of national home builders, bigger home builders. A national home builder, can operate at a 11% or 15% margin because of volume. They're doing more. If you're in a market that doesn't do a lot of new construction, showing that number to a buyer is like, oh, cool, they're going to make 10%. No. If you are going to hire someone to build your house, and they're a smaller boutique builder, they're a high-end builder that does, a couple projects at a time, or they're just a small company in an area that, tries to find opportunities to carve out 6 lots or, 4 lots here and does smaller projects. They're not a national home builder with all the volume. They're not looking for 11% margin, because if they make one mistake, they go out of business and they go bankrupt. They make one mistake trying to do 4 houses at 11%. Think about that. If you've ever flipped a house too, let me know in the live comments if you've personally flipped, not helping a client flip, right? Like those of us that have flipped, we know this. Like, you do all this work, 6 months, you tie up all your cash for 6 months to do a flip. And, some people just borrow all the money, which is also fine too. But you take the risk if you're borrowing the money, and you manage all the all the contractors, and you're picking out them, and you do all this stuff. And it's like, even when you make 25% margin, okay, say you make 100 grand and then you pay capital gains, it's like, man, I could have worked on other things the last 6 months to make an easier, 60, 70 grand than that. I mean, I could have just gone out there and done 5 deals and not taken on all that risk. And Jeff's never flipped a house because they are too heavy. Jeff, go. I mean, hit the gym before the hot sheet. Come on, Jeff, you can do it. You can flip a house. I got that. That is a dad joke right there from Jeff Withers, Denton, Texas. Very good, very clever, Jeff. I like that. But you're looking for at least 25% margin to take the risk on a flip, and even then, to me, I'm like, that was so much time, conversation, and I could have done other things with that time. So the best flippers are the ones that are voluming that out, just like the best builders are those national home builders. They're voluming it out. And when you do 10 flips in a month, it's a little bit easier. Okay. So that 11% margin, yeah, for the national home builder, they can survive right now. And that's where they're doing some of these concessions and what have you. But when you're educating somebody who's just getting into the building process, and they're going to hire a builder, maybe direct and do whatever, that builder is going to need 25, 30%. So add that on to the 64% on the construction costs, the 13% on the finished lots. And it gets incredibly expensive, more so expensive when you're doing, those one-off situations. Okay. Unless you're actually doing the labor yourself, of course, that would be the different story. Here's a further breakdown from NAHB. When you get into some of these the 13%, the average right now on finished lot costs, don't know where that accent was coming from, including the financing of the lot, is $91,000 right now. Okay. Total construction, $428,000. The financing of this carrying $10,000. Overhead and general expenses, $38,000. Marketing, sales, compensation, $19,000. And then so look at all of that to net out $72,000 on a total sale price of $665,000. Okay. And that's on an 11% margin there. There's a lot. That is to get that 72,000 on that one house, start to finish, from lot to finish. That is years of work and risk and all of that. So, where do these costs need to come down? They need to come down in the materials. They need to come down in the finished lot costs, the regulation of getting there. Those two things are the two areas where you can bring that down. You're not going to see labor come down. So it's materials. Does this new administration's energy plan actually bring the cost of materials down? You could see it maybe there. And then regulations around the lot, maybe you see it there to drive costs down, but it is very expensive to build. Despite the expense that it is to build, millennials still want to buy a home, and they're willing to do certain things to buy a home in 2025. You can find this on nowbam.com. What millennials are willing to do. The real estate witch. Maybe they should make that into a movie. Isn't there a new witch movie out everybody keeps talking about lately? Well, the real estate witch, not in Hollywood, but a publication from Clever Real Estate, put out a report on what millennials are willing to do right now. Okay, so we know about the affordability crisis we just went over from the building perspective. But here's the biggest barriers to home ownership right now, according to millennials, and then we'll get into what they're actually willing to do. 52% are saying homes are just too expensive. 46% blamed the mortgage rates. 44% are saving for that down payment. 34% are pointing towards high property taxes as being a barrier. 33% say there just aren't enough homes that fit their budget. Obviously, we know that that's a big problem, and new construction continues to trend towards those higher ends of the market right now. 28% say qualifying for the mortgage is difficult. 27% are saying they don't earn enough. 26% say very competitive, and you can see the rest of the list there on nowbam.com. Now, what are the things that millennials are willing to compromise? These are the insights into our customers and clients. Of maybe the first area we would point to of maybe stretching the boundary on the search or giving up certain features. What are the things they're naturally willing as a millennial group to sacrifice for home ownership? 57% are willing to purchase fixer-uppers. So this is where the stats we just went over on what it actually costs to build a house, comparison to, hey, how much can we get done on a DIY or managing some of these projects case by case on a fixer-upper? Like, there's a lot more value buying a fixer-upper in a great location than there is buying new construction in an outstretched location, top sticker price. Okay, so 57%, the majority of millennials, they're open to that strategy, and somebody that gives them the strategy laid out in a beautiful way and the confidence to move forward with it as their real estate professional is going to be that somebody who gets that deal done and gets them into home ownership quicker and allows them to really change that money component of their life and for their family. 47% would get a second job if it meant, hey, there's a path here for me to getting a home. 42% would actually buy a smaller home. Okay, so I actually just went over this at 9 a.m. here with my agents. There's if you're willing to buy a smaller home, but maybe you don't actually have that information in the buyer consult. Hey, here's all the like magic wand scenario. What if I had a magic wand right now and I could get you the perfect house you want? Give me all those features. Give me all those details. Okay. Here's your magic wand house. If we had to take a few things away, what would we actually take away? Okay, we're going to take away this, take away this. Maybe they don't say in that initial consult that they would consider a smaller home. Hey, are you open to maybe a little bit less square feet if the layout's exceptional or if the deal is amazing? Yeah, we would consider that. Okay, so I've got your permission to send you that stuff. Yeah, definitely. Send me that stuff if you find those. We would definitely compromise. Okay, now we have an open dialogue that there's going to be compromise, and we know that most buyers, when they get to the the actual transferring of keys, there's a compromise that has taken place. Okay, so now you just basically use the terminology, the scripting that you've always used. I'm not sure if it's for you, but this one just came across my desk. It's a great deal. Here are the features. Let me know if you want all the details, right? Like, I'm not sure if it's for you because, we haven't been there and we haven't toured it. But I'll get you all the details and get a tour set up. Okay. Now we've got permission up front. Hey, I'm open to it. I think this one's a great deal. It's about 15 minutes outside of your radius. I'm not sure if it's for you because it is, again, 15 minutes into a different neighborhood. We're talking about a different school district. It's a great school district, by the way. But this is a amazing deal. It's the best deal I've seen all of January. I think we should take a look at it. Now we're stretching what's possible. And listen, when surveyed, millennials are saying, yeah, we would consider that. If the right person presents it in the right way, of course they would consider it. 40% would buy a home without all my desired features. There you go. Hey, this is missing this feature and that, but these three features that we're looking for are actually the best I've seen in any home I've toured all year. Let's go check it out. 35% will move to a different city, move to a different rural area, 28%. 25% would actually move to a different state. 1 out of 4 millennials would move to a different state if it meant home ownership. That tells me how badly people want home ownership. This is the great position real estate professionals we are in, that we get to actually help people achieve this dream. People are willing to move to a different state to achieve home ownership. And that is uncommon. Okay. Most people, I'm going to just Google this. I Googled this on my local radio show the other day. Most people don't move outside of, let me just find this. Okay, here it is. This is from census.gov. Nearly 6 in 10 young adults live within 10 miles of where they grew up. 8 in 10 live within 100 miles. Okay, so the fact that 1 out of 4 millennials are raising their hand and saying, I'd move out of state if it meant home ownership is amazing. The thirst for home ownership is so strong. It's a beautiful business to be in, obviously, because most people never leave. Most people never leave 10 miles of where they grew up. That's incredible, right? Think about maybe like your own situation, your family situation, like how many people have actually left the 10 miles that they grew up in. It's really amazing, but that speaks to how passionate people want to own their own space. All right. Let's see how many people are actually, though, demanding a mortgage application right now, because that'll give us insights into the future of how, actually obtainable this home ownership dream is going to be in the next 60, 90, 120 days for people with that thirst and that interest for home ownership. Mortgage applications on the headline number decreased 2% from 1 week earlier. That's not necessarily the number we're looking for because that includes refis, according to Mortgage Banker Association, ending the week January 4, and it does include an adjustment for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So the measure of the loan decreased 2%. Okay, here we go. The refinance decreased 7%. You'd expect that. We've been sitting up over 7% on the 30-year fix. So refining right now is a need basis, not, a nice to have. It's like, I need to do it for a specific reason. Now the refi was 5% higher than the same week a year ago. So a little bit higher there. The seasonally adjusted purchase index, this is the one we care about, also was a slight decrease, but I'll call that flat at 0.4% down. So the 2% headline number looks worse than what we're actually paying attention to, which is the purchase number. Would like to see this number go up, in all honesty. at this time of year, late January. But really that's flat. Okay. And it was 7% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Would love to have seen that number higher, but we know that in January of last year, we saw more of a traditional end of January on mortgage applications. So this is an indicator here that, yeah, the 7% rate is applying some level of pressure on mortgage applications at a time, excuse me, when we expect that to be a little bit higher of demand. The 7.07 is now 2 days straight on the 30-year fix. So we are seeing stability like we haven't seen in quite some time. Not stability that we want because we're up over 7%, but we are seeing it ending the day at 7.07 on the 30-year fix. If we can get spread to continue to improve this year, that hopefully will naturally come down. The 10-year is actually dropping in anticipation of Jerome Powell's comments later today as he does the Fed presser. Here's your last 5 days on the 10-year. That's moving in the right direction. Here's the last month. Lowest point in the last month here at 4.512. The expectation is Jerome Powell is going to come out and do nothing with the Fed target rate. That's basically baked in the cake. What's more important is what he says in the presser, what questions he answers. We're going to be breaking that all down on tomorrow's hot sheet. We extract all the transcript from his press release and from the question and answer segment. We extract that data. We sift through the BS so you don't have to. And tomorrow, we will go through every mention of housing to give you just those details as it pertains to the housing market and the economy that affects the housing market. With that, BAMX members, you get that transcript and those timestamps so you can go directly to those moments. That's going to be tomorrow's hot sheet, breaking down the Fed, what they feel about the future. Maybe we'll get some insights on that. What are the comments they have about the housing market and what the Fed reaction, Jerome Powell specifically, reaction is to some of the comments from new President Trump. We're going to get all of that in tomorrow and kind of see where this thing could be going. We'll see if there's any indication on when the next rate cut from the Fed might be. We'll break it all down on tomorrow's hot sheet live at 9 a.m. Eastern or 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 on the West. You guys know the deal in between. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss that. And I'll see you guys then. Till then, toodaloo.